Hi everyone, Lisa Haven here, and I've got a critical report that you're going to want to share with everyone. This is absolutely huge. Now, last year I talked about former President Obama and how we haven't heard the last of him and that he would be on the scene. Well, he is. In this report that I put out last year, I spoke of an organization that he started, OFA, Organized for Action, in which he had over 30,000 activists army, or a group of an activist army, if you want to call it that. Now it's over 32, 35, some odd thousand, somewhere around there, and growing. But this particular army, and I'll throw the page up on the website so you can see it for yourself, is an army that Obama constructed and put together in order to dismantle the Trump administration, in order to encourage protests and riots all across the country, in order to make phone calls to stop certain bills and legislations from going through. Now, when something like that forms, my red alerts go up because this is huge. This is all conducted with part of Obama's money, obviously, because he's the head honcho of it. And we must also remember that he's 2 miles from the White House. That's his command center. Him and I believe Valerie Jarrett is there also. But interesting thing, knowing that, something that popped up recently, Mr. Ben Rhodes, who is the former or was the Deputy National Security Advisor to Obama when Obama was in office, well, he has now started his own activist army with its own stealth style shadow government. Now, his group is called the National Security Action. I'll take you to that website so you can see some of their mission. But right there on the mission statement, it says the National Security Action is dedicated to advancing American global leadership and opposing the reckless policies of the Trump administration that endanger our national security and undermine the U.S. strength in the world. Okay, but further, it goes on to detail what they're committed to. And here's kind of the quotes that they say, but bringing together and mobilizing an unparalleled network is one of them, but it's of former senior officials and policy experts, academics, and civil society leaders who are dedicated to a progressive, that's socialism with a pretty little name, progressive vision of America, global leadership. Right there, they're very obvious. They want progressive and socialist tendencies to rule our country, which is never good. Just look at Venezuela. But it also goes on to say, shining a bright light on the Trump administration's reckless policies, underscoring their dangerous consequences, and equipping Americans with the arguments to counter them. And all of this is interesting. So their number 1 agenda is to dethrone Trump. Their number 2 agenda is to put those progressive ideas in America, socialistic ideas. That means you're kind of everybody makes the same amount pay kind of style, which never works. We don't have to look very far to see that socialism leads to a really rich class and a really poor class. There is no happy medium in that, and that's exactly the kind of principles that the uber elite want in order to push their falsified policies and agenda, those on the far left. And obviously the ultimate end game, their third goal, is to push a global new world order. Now, again, I said this was all part of the constructor here. Part of the guy who is doing it is Ben Rhodes. He is the former Deputy National Security Advisor to President Obama. But also, and I threw up his picture there, but also, another agenda of this group is to push climate change. I'll throw that up as well. You could see we believe that climate change is an urgent national security challenge and it must be confronted with American leadership. Interesting, to say the least. So here we have it. We have Obama's number 1 stealth organization, OFA, that I showed you at the beginning, where over 30,000 some odd people, and it's way more than that now, have manned together to attack Trump policies. Imagine that amount of people calling legislators when it's not happening on the other side and encouraging protests and riots all across the country. Add that little number to the latest one by Mr. Rhodes there, the National Security Action, his latest stealth army or shadow army that's going after President Trump. So now we have 2 activist armies hardcore going after Trump. Now that's not even bringing up media matters. David Barak, who put out this report a couple of years ago in which it attacks the ideas of patriotism. It attacks the ideas of nationalism, and he purposefully also is paying people. This report, Media Matters there, that report that you saw details how they are paying people to make phone calls to legislators as well. So that's 3 technical organizations that have bound together to overcome and to get rid of this nationalistic view that we have, and we've got to keep that here in America. We cannot let global mentalities rule the world. We cannot allow that to happen. We can't get these progressive socialist ideas unless you want to be a country like Venezuela, which I know you guys don't, but we have to wake up the sleeping half, and we have to get everybody aware and, get in on the action, call your senators and congressmen, be a part of stepping up the game and combating these other activist armies that some are paid, some do it for free, but we have to combat them and stand our ground. We want to support the Second Amendment, support the First Amendment all the way, and we have to activate ourselves to do that because we don't have organizations like the far left is attempting to do, and as they are doing. Anyhow, I just want to throw this out there. I'm going to be at the Hear the Watchman conference in a couple weeks, March 22nd through the 26th, or 23rd through the 25th-ish, I think is the main days of the conference. Love to see you guys there. You can get tickets at hearthewatchman.com, key or use the code HAVEN20 to get $20 off, or live stream. If you can't make it because it's a couple weeks away, we got live stream. Use the code HAVEN20 and it'll get you 20% off of live stream. So check that out. Also, don't forget to check out my partner at noblegoldinvestments.com. I have links below. You guys need to make sure you have gold, silver, and these kind of things on hand in the event of who knows what. But always don't keep your ducks all in one line, all in one currency, all in one place. Spread it out and make sure you check that out. They also have a Bitcoin thing as well. Anyhow, thanks again for tuning in. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.